Too early for this.
Hi guys! So for Casual Corner this week, I'm going to be showing you guys our Winter WKO.
It's spring technically right now, but
technically we're in spring. But
somebody should tell Canada's weather that.
Now, I can already hear you asking, but Amber, this is Casual Corner. Why are you reporting about a WKO? Well, it's the only winter one I'm able to get to, and it's sealed. So there was no forethought put into this, so you'll see when we get our boosters just how casual this event may end up being for us. So we're sitting in our friend's car while they get coffee, and we're going to be on the road to Whitby to go to Comic Book Addiction.
Whitby.
And we will see you guys at the store soon. Sorry for the sun.
Don't apologize for the sun. The sun's a jerk. Look at this. Look at him. Look at me shining in your face like he owns the place. Just a heads up, guys. This is a little quick meta fix in your Casual Corner. Don't plan board game night before a Heroclix tournament, like competitive tournament. It's a very bad idea.
We're so tired.
This is not going to be my last Red Bull today.
I want to eat them all. How'd it go, Jason?
I am tired and I have hot garbage to work with, so everything about this tournament is going to be a dumpster fire. Yeah.
Well, at least you already qualified for nationals, right?
I'm not seeing a lockjaw today. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, you'll see it. You just won't own it.
Yeah, it's true. It won't be mine. That's for sure. Ever so helpful. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you for your.
Hi, Scott.
Hi. I don't have enough points to build a team, basically. My highest point figure is 50, and I don't have too many of those.
Oh no!
I had to use every figure in my booster except Darwin, so.
Yep.
And then
I have to break theme because I'm at 260 with theme, so I have to put in one of these 3 figures.
Oh my!
I don't think it's
How's it going, Emily?
Hi.
How's your team?
I manage theme.
Yay!
95 theme, so we're gonna try it, but I'm not too optimistic, so we'll see.
Mike?
Hot mess. Hot mess. I don't know. But so far I've got 6 figures at 290, but not theme. It's a hot mess. What are you gonna do?
Sneak past you again.
Yeah, but then that's all it is, right? Yeah.
This is my team. Felt pretty academic once you pull a super rare Wolverine and a prime Magneto. Then you kind of just go from there. So we'll see how that goes. Hi guys. So I'm actually back in my regular Heroclix location, our comic shop, comic warehouse. It has been a week since the WKO. I wasn't able to actually finish it off while we were there, as it went all day, and we started at like 10 and we didn't finish till 7, so I had no energy left. Considering I had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep the night before, I had no energy to film while we were there, and then I didn't get a chance to film since then. Unfortunately, I had tried out a product over the weekend for a side business that I'm doing, and I had an allergic reaction, and giant blister broke out. You can actually still see it looks like I have a split lip. Anyways, that was from allergic reaction, so I could not film this week as it took over like half my face. That's an exaggeration. Anyways, so as you saw for the WKO, my team was the super rare Wolverine, prime Magneto, Moira McTaggart, who could perplex up Wolverine, which is fantastic, and Jubilee, and I went with Jubilee over like Brew or what was the other one? Husk, I think it was. Anyways, there was a couple of different 50-point options that I had, and I went with Jubilee because I liked the range on her, and I know that there are a lot of close combat figures in the X-Men set itself. So, first round was actually against Scott Crampton, and as you guys saw, he had to use pretty much every single figure in his booster. I think he used 8 out of the 10, and it was just a mix of characters. So I had the Bifrost and the Jotunheim Lake Mountain map. So I won map roll, put us on the Jotunheim map, which has an elevated outer rim around the entire map, and then down below has an ice terrain, and if you deal knockback, it does double knockback. Anyways, you push people on ice. So I had kind of moved down slowly. I have Moira to perplex up Wolverine. I've got Magneto to TK him in. I've got Jubilee to go in for another attack afterwards. So should have been good. He had like a Marvel Girl, Cyclops, Darwin, Artie, like a whole bunch of just gold balls, a whole bunch of characters that I tried to make attacks on. Now I had a big attack with Wolverine, had him perplexed up his attack to like 12, had Magneto TK him in to the point where he would be further on into the map than my starting area, so he'd get flurry, went to do his big attack, and missed. And of course, this team had no prob on it. It wasn't a theme team because Magneto broke theme, being the like Hellfire Club Magneto. So that put like Wolverine just in a bad position. And then basically every time I was set up to do an attack, I was missing. And now thankfully a lot of my defenses were high, so he was having a hard time attacking back. But because I was doing no damage, it would basically just like a chess match of moving back and forth. Now, at one point, Jubilee got tied up with Darwin, and he was able to basically choose invincible every time I went to attack him, so I wasn't going to be able to deal him damage. But I wasn't able to break away from him either, so Jubilee basically became useless for most of the game because she was tied up with Darwin. And then at one point, I had moved Moira back around these like pillars of the mountain and didn't realize that she was like pretty much lined up perfectly for Cyclops, who had actually come up around the edge of the mountain, and Cyclops basically one-shotted her. And I was like, oh no, my source of perplex is gone. That's not good. And then I was able to get a lot of shots in on this Cyclops, basically had him dead, and then Magneto missed, and that was like the attack that I really needed to finish off Cyclops. And then his ex-trainee was able to come back around Cyclops and got like a huge heal on him. So Cyclops was almost all the way back to full, and Cyclops managed to finish off Magneto. So now I've got Moira dead, I've got Magneto dead, I've got Wolverine, who is missing almost every single attack that he's trying to make. I made the mistake of going really hard against the Marvel Girl. She's got a surprisingly deep dial, and like a really annoying dial too, because she's got high defenses and super senses, and I really should have not focused as many attacks against her as I did. The game itself ended up going to time, and even though I was able to pick off a couple of his characters, it wasn't enough points-wise to make up for the fact that I lost Moira and I lost Magneto. So I lost my first round. My second game was up against not a local, but kind of local player named Evan. He's a few cities out, so we see him during like the big tournaments when everybody in the area comes together, but we don't see him weekly. Now, he had a fantastic team, and he was having the same problem I did, where like dice just weren't working for him. He had pulled Dark Beast and Kid Gladiator, and he had something else on the team, and I have pictures, and you guys will get to see it, but I don't remember what it was. And basically this was the one game where my team did what it was supposed to do. The one that I was like, yeah, this is what it does. So we went on to Bifrost Bridge, and so Wolverine got TK'd up, got the flurry, one-shotted, basically one turn, Beast is dead. And he's like, oh, that's not how that's supposed to happen. So the Beast is just gone. And so I was able to have Magneto move forward, do attacks. Jubilee came in, she got to do attacks in. Moira's perplexing everything up. I was able to just really push forward and keep the pressure on his team, doing the flurries with Wolverine. Wolverine was hitting every single attack, doing high amount on blades, just wrecking house to the point where I don't think I even lost anything. And I took his whole team. So it's just like, and we finished before time. It was like, yeah. So I'm now pumped because I'm like, yeah, my team did what it was supposed to do. Woohoo, yeah. And that was pretty much my high point of the game. So round 3, I'm going in, I'm 1-1. I'm like, okay, this is okay, because we need to do, with the amount of players, we had 29 players, so pretty much every 3-1 was going to get in, but 2-2s weren't. So I was like, okay, this is like my bubble game, even though it's the 3rd round of 4, this is my bubble game. I need to win this to get a chance to go into the top 8 cuts. So, this 3rd round, I was up against Dominic, and Dominic is another one of those players where he's local enough to see him at big events, but not local enough to see him on a regular basis. And he had the magic super rare, so like the Dark Child magic, Penance, Marvel Girl, and there was something else there that I don't really remember what it was. So, once again, we went on the Jotunheim Lake Mountain map, and I had pushed forward with Wolverine kind of doing my thing and didn't do as much damage, but didn't, oh, he had Cyclops. Of course he had Cyclops. But also didn't, like, it wasn't an, oh my gosh, I'm going to die now because I missed this attack. But with that magic, it's got, like, 18 defense, invincible, high attacks, it's got mystics, like, I was basically avoiding it. So I had Wolverine push forward and take out Penance. So Penance got taken out, even though it took me a little bit longer than I wanted to take her out, but she was gone. So I was like, all right, that's out of the way. And then he had managed to have his Cyclops. Once again, Magneto died to Cyclops. So it got to the point where I was down to basically just Wolverine. But he was down to Penance and Marvel Girl. And we were at close enough points that I'm like, if I can take out this Marvel Girl, I can win and just avoid magic. So I was chasing Marvel Girl around the map. But the hard thing is that now the rules have changed for TK. Characters with TK can TK themselves. So anytime I managed to get to Marvel Girl, she'd TK away, and then magic would come in. Now thankfully magic wasn't making any of her attacks, so she wasn't dealing enough damage to Wolverine to take him out, but he did get some attacks in, and I only managed to get some damage on Marvel Girl, and it got down to like the wire. We got a call for 5 minutes left in the round, and I'm like, I really need to do something here. And at this point I am losing. He has taken enough points off my team that I think there was like a 40-point difference between us, but it was enough that if that game ended there, he was winning. So I finally got to a point where magic had taken a critical miss. And I was like, all right, her defenses are now down a little bit, and she's been damaged, and I really need to push forward. I'm not going to track down this Marvel Girl because she just keeps TKing away. So I went whole hog on magic and managed to get a huge blades in and brought her down to her final click. Now my Wolverine is also down to his final click, and it ended up coming down to, I've on her last click. She's got, oh sorry, I wasn't on my last click yet with Wolverine. I had one more stop click to go through, and she had 18 defense with super senses and prob, and I'm at a 10 attack, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this 8 basically to win the game. So roll for it, don't hit the 8. And it's like, okay, now she has flurry as well to basically take out Wolverine, but she needs high 2. So it's like, all right, well maybe she won't make it, but she managed to hit the 2 attacks with the flurry, take out the Wolverine, and that was my team. So it ended up being a nail biter down to the end. Like, we were basically both cheering at the end of the round because it was just such an intense, amazing game that like we really thought that I had lost that game like really early in. but Wolverine managed to come back and like swipe everything out and bring him down, and he was really nervous, especially once I got magic down to her final click, that he was really, really nervous that I was going to be able to hit that attack and take magic out and win the game. So that put me into the final round, and I'm 1-2. So there's no way I'm making into the cut. So I'm like, I don't even care what my last round is. I'm just gonna have fun because my team's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So my final one, I'm up against Dan. Once again, another player that lives, he lives out in Windsor. So we met during the very first Canadian Super Qualifier for The Rock. And we don't get to see him as often because he doesn't travel very much, and Windsor is very far away compared to the guys that live in like Orangeville or London, which everybody in America is like, what are you talking about, Amber? We have no idea where those places are. Anyway, so Dan's team was a super rare Wolverine as well, but he had both the common and uncommon Cyclops and Hellion, which is just an absolute fantastic team, but he was having as much problem with his dice as I was. So we basically kind of positioned, and then it was like, all right, whose Wolverine is going to make the first attack? Who can do this? So he made a huge push really early on and managed to take every single one of his attacks possible. So a flurry from Wolverine, both Cyclops attack, even got a Hellion attack in there and took out my Wolverine. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But then that also left his Wolverine in a vulnerable spot where I pushed all of my attacks, and I had Moira at one point broke away sidestep to pick up a light object, and my light objects are badgers. So I went to pick up a badger, swung back around, and hit Wolverine with the badger for 3 damage. So I'm like, yeah, go Moira! And then Jubilee went in, and she got hurt. So I was like, all right, now we're through a stop click. Let's get through the next stop click. Jubilee put him on the next stop click. I'm like, all right, Magneto, your turn. Come on, let's do this. Magneto missed. So I'm like, oh no. Now thankfully his Wolverine was double tokened at that time, so it gave me another chance to basically, I'm not quite out yet, but that was supposed to be a dead Wolverine. It was supposed to be both of our Wolverines were dead and we were going from there. So I did thankfully manage to take out the Wolverine before it could do too much damage to my team. But that left me vulnerable, where Magneto's pretty much dead at this point. And I have Jubilee and Moira, and then left to take out Hellion and the 2 Cyclopses. So he was able to kind of push around the Cyclopses, and one of them, I think it like sees through people or something. Like it has a much better, I think it's the X Factor one, has like a really cool attack. Anyways, it was doing fun things, and I'm like, this isn't working for me. And then he had the first class one, where if he did the first hit, X-Men's got +1 attack or damage or something. So he was making sure to hit with the first Cyclops every time so that he was getting those pluses. And it's like, I just, even with Moira's Perplex, I'm like, I'm not matching that. So Moira ended up grabbing another Badger and smacking again. So out of like all my team, Moira was like the MVP for that round. But yeah. So it ended up being that Cyclops took out Magneto again. So 3 rounds, I faced 3 Cyclopses. Each round, Cyclops did the killing blow on Magneto. So I was actually, at that point, I was joking the fact that he was going to kill my Magneto because he had Cyclops. And that's just what Cyclops was doing, or that's just what Cyclops was doing that day, was killing my Magneto. Every time I faced a Cyclops, my one win didn't have a Cyclops. Yeah, so ended up finishing the whole thing 1-3 with Super Rare Wolverine just not doing this. The stop clicks ended up keeping him alive a little bit longer, but he definitely just wasn't hitting his attacks when I needed 7s. Yay! So we finished it off going 1-3, and then did some battle royales. Now, the funny thing with the battle royales, the first one we jumped into. Now, at this point, I had brought a team to practice for nationals that are coming up, Canadian nationals, and my girlfriend brought her team. Now her team was set up for pre-rotation because she's planning to go down to Michigan soon. So she has a Sam Cap team that's just gross. So I think we played 2 rounds of the game, and my team was set for post-rotation. So it's like I'm expecting like Overdrive to be gone and a lot of things to just be gone, and the Hawkeye ID card and stuff to be gone. So by like the second round, she had Alpha Striked me with her Overdrive. Oh no, she had actually changed over to Kite Man because she's planning to get rid of the Overdrive. But yeah, had moved in, brought in Hawkeye, and just like decimated my team in round 2. I'm like, all right, we're not going to get adequate practice out of this at all because my team is not designed to go up against a team like this. So we ended up jumping into Battle Royale instead. Now, out of the 4 people that were in that Battle Royale, 3 of us pulled primes. So we ended up having a lot of fun, and Dust is gross in Battle Royale. Because of her Sandstorm thing, it deals damage at the end of each opponent's turn. So, Keith, I believe his name was? No, Neil? Had the Dust. So he would place the tokens, and then it was like, at the end of my turn, I'm taking damage. At the end of Emily's turn, I'm taking damage. Who else was playing with us at the end of... Oh my gosh, I can't remember who else was playing with us. Anyways, the end of the other person's turn, I'm taking damage. So Dust was just cleaning up, because once people didn't have damage reducers, she's dealing damage to them each turn before the smoke cloud goes away. So Dust, Battle Royales, whew. I ended up coming in second in that, and I picked up the War Machine from the actual WKO. So I still got something from it, but I managed to not get the 1 prime that we needed out of the 3 primes that were pulled. And then we played another Battle Royale with me, Emily, Scott, and someone else. I'm so bad. I keep forgetting who my Battle Royales were with. But that one ended up being a really quick one because we ended up doing it, we had like 30 minutes because they were closing the store. It was at the end of the night, but Scott really wanted to play a Battle Royale. So we're like, okay, let's just throw in a Battle Royale and go with it. I think Aiden was part of that because we were waiting on Jason and our other friend Rory to finish up their Battle Royale. Anyways, lots of fun, and in between the actual tournament and the Battle Royales, we found out that it was our judge's birthday. So there were a lot of cupcakes. And they were like those design cupcakes where it's like a cluster of cupcakes and then they do an icing design on top. So people were getting cupcakes with like giant mounds of icing. So both me and Emily were sitting there playing the Battle Royale, and we're watching everybody else take cupcakes, and we're just like, we really want this Battle Royale to finish so that we can go get cupcakes. Anyways, ended up being a lot of fun, even though I like did so horribly. Super fun. Going out to Comic Book Addiction is always a lot of fun. They do so well running events. Always look forward to doing events there as often as we can. We usually only go out for the big WKOs or rocks because it's a fair amount of travel for us to get out to Whitby, which for us is on the other side of Toronto from where we actually live. Yeah. Super fun. That was my WKO. I pretty much don't think I have anything until Canadian Nationals comes out for actual like big tournaments. So we'll get a lot of casual corner of the Saturdays. Fun tournaments. Yay!